Today the weather is really cold and I'm sorry guys, due to some problems I couldn't record videos for a few days. Now I hope we don't face that kind of issues anymore, so we can carry on our course regularly, continuously. As usual, we are going to talk about each and every tool one by one. Till last video, I think we covered line segment tool, and today we're gonna cover rectangle tool. Now, what's rectangle tool? And our first lessons, we also talked about rectangle tool while we were using selection tool or direct selection tool. So now it's the individual class of rectangle tool. Let's see. In rectangle tool, if you click and hold left click of your mouse, you can see there are few more tools as well: rectangle, rounded rectangle, ellipse, polygon, star, flare. One thing is common, all of them are shapes. That's why they are included in rectangle tool. First, we're gonna start from rectangle. How many ways do we have to draw a shape or a rectangle? First, click and drag. Second, click, hold, shift and drag. And third, click. They will give you a dialog box to give width and height. I'm gonna give 2050 width and 250 width and 300 height. This is how my rectangle works. Rectangle is a closed path shape. So in closed path shape we have two things: fill and stroke. If you see, if I deselect this one, you can see I have a stroke, but I can't see fill. I have fill, but it matches my artboard color, which is white. Let's change the fill color to orange. Now there are two colors, fill and stroke. Increase the stroke from the properties so we can see it very well. If you guys remember, we covered stroke in our previous lesson in line segment. If you haven't watched it yet, watch that lesson. You will know everything about stroke. So I'm gonna give its link in the description as well, or maybe in here as well, in the corner of my screen. Then we have uniform with stroke. First selected, uniform, changes uniform. You can see the stroke shape changes, the stroke style changes. If I come to this one, you can see how well it is aligned with my stroke. Or this one, first select, then change it. I think this one looks much better. Then line, do you want your stroke as a brush? Then increase its height. So this is how your brush will look like. If you just get rid of your fill, it will be on your stroke in the shape of rectangle. This was few things about rectangle. Let's come back to our normal mode. If you remember, in our direct selection and selection tool, we talked about these points, that what it does, it gives curves to your corners. So I put a curve there, and if you want to have the same shape without using the rectangle tool, we have rounded rectangle tool. Go to the selection tool, rectangle tool, click on rounded rectangle, click and drag. It will give you rounded corners, rectangles. One thing more, don't release your mouse yet, but if you click up in your arrow keys, it will increase the roundness of your rectangle. If you click on down, it will decrease it. So this is one thing you have in rounded rectangle tool. Now if you have drew your rectangle, rounded rectangle, how can we increase or decrease the roundness of these rectangles or these corners? Simply we can do it from here as well, but if you want to give it a specific number, then in your properties, if you have it, good. If you don't have it, go to the window, come to the property, select it, it will appear here. Then these are the locations, X and Y axis, and then width and height. This is rotation, this is flip horizontally or vertically. It doesn't affect anything because all the borders or all the shapes are same. Whichever direction you flip, it will look the same. But if you come and click on these three dots, here are your angles. If I increase this angle, all of them increases because there is a link button or link radio button. Click on it or unlink them. Then if you increase one side, only a single side will be increased. If you decrease the other side, only the side you want to decrease its roundness, it will be decreased. This is how you can manage the angles or the roundness of your corners individually in your rounded rectangle tool. If I have rectangle tool and I gave them roundness, still I can do that. If I just get rid of my rounded corners and come back on the three dots, I can still give roundness to a single corner, whichever corner I want or whichever corner suits my design. Then we have Ellipse tool. Ellipse tool, which gives you a circle if you hold shift and then drag your or draw your circle. If you don't, then it will give you an ellipse tool or ellipse. Then we have polygon tool. In polygon tool, we also have few things to keep in mind. If I draw polygon, let me delete all the other objects, change its color to black, get rid of my stroke, go to polygon. If I draw polygon, if I hold shift, it will give me a nice and neat perspective design. Or if I just draw it, and let's draw another one. If I just click on up arrow key, it will increase the edges of my polygon. If I click on down arrow key, it will decrease the edges of my polygon. Now it's a rectangle, square. So this is how polygon tool works. So with polygon tools, you can design a lot of things. Suppose the design which is really famous. So this is something we created with our polygon tool. With polygon tool, we can also do something which we did with rectangle tool. Click and drag this circle. You can see your edges or your corners gonna be rounded. If I increase it till the last point, then it will be a circle. If I increase a little bit, my edges will be or corners will be rounded. Now if we come to these properties, polygon properties and transform, we have axis in x-axis where it is located and y-axis where it is located. These are the coordinates of them. Then we have width and height. Then we have rotation. We have specific numbers of rotation. Then we have flip. If you flip this, you can't see anything because all sides of the shape are in the same design, but you can consider this one. You can differentiate whether it is flipped or not. Keep this in mind. When I flip it, it will go on the left side. When I flip it down, it will come down. But if I go here and increase the edge or decrease the edge to 5, then I come flip it up. Now the shape is different because upside and downside are a total different design, but right and left are the same. Then still you have rotations, angle, size. You can play with your polygon from transform here. After polygon, we have star tool. If I want to draw a star and hold shift, it will be in a straight position. But if I don't hold it, star shape is not going to be destroyed or it won't be lost. But I cannot draw it in a straight line or standing straight. It will be a little bit rotated. If I hold shift, then it will be in a straight standing position. Whenever I draw a star, there are few things with star as well. Up arrow key increases the corners, down arrow key decreases. This is something we can do with our star tool. With only clicking up arrow key increasing the corners of my star, this shape has drew. We draw this shape. And then we have flare. Flare tool is not mostly used, but you can play with it whenever you want, if you have something. For example, this is the flare I drew. Let me first draw a rectangle. Change its color to dark. Right click on it, arrange to the or send to the back. Click on this one. This is my flare. Or with flare you can transform it. You can play with your flare. Click on it. If I have transform here, not here, but come to rotate them 10 degree, take a copy and Control D. This is what you can do with your star tool. Mostly in illustrations I haven't seen anyone use star tool, and I also haven't faced any situation that I can take advantages of this tool. These were the rectangle tools, and related to rectangle tools or related to shape tools, how much or how many shapes or how you can draw shapes. I hope you guys understood. If you liked it, I know this one was effective because we talked a lot about rectangle tools, and whenever you want to discuss about the other tools, I drew a shape, ellipse, star, polygon. So it was a kind of how can I say, repeated class. And maybe some people haven't seen those classes, or some people only need to watch or need to know about rectangle tool. So this class was for them. And have one thing more, if you guys haven't subscribed it yet, subscribe the channel to get notified of our upcoming videos. Thank you.